Hey everybody, I'm going to try to keep this really short, but some of you in the discussion board, when you mentioned how you found out about the course or why you took the course, mentioned that you didn't really even know what a learning community was or that this was a learning community. Although some of you mentioned that even though you didn't know this was a learning community, you did kind of have some awareness of what a learning community was. So I thought it'd be worth it for me to just do like a 3-minute video, just talking a little bit about just the idea of this class as a learning community. If we were in person, we would be having two back-to-back in-person classes, English and philosophy. So we'd be together physically for double the amount of time. And one of the benefits of that is you get to know each other a lot better. You get to know us, the teachers, a lot better. And this maybe isn't a big deal, but a lot of times I write letters of recommendation for students, and I think like a lot of those letters come from students from the learning community because they just get to know the instructors really well. Obviously, we're not in person while we're doing this, and so feeling the connection between the classes will be a lot harder. The sense of community will be a little harder. So I want to talk to you a little bit about both of those and how we're going to try to keep them going. So I mentioned this sense of community you get from a learning community, but the other benefit of a learning community is that you get to see how, what you learn in one class relates to what you learn in another class, right? If you think about how most of your classes work, they seem totally unrelated and like kind of in silos, right? You just take psychology and then you go take English, and they never feel like they connect to each other. So we've mentioned this already, that you're going to see some pretty direct connections in this class. So let me talk about that a little bit. First, the main thing is your 4 major papers for the course are going to directly ask you to connect the philosophy and the English together. So you're going to see connections that way. The second thing you're going to see in a video this week, and you'll see more of it going forward, you're going to see a video from both Professor Hemmer and I talking about how the philosophy and the English play off each other in a given week or in a given set of weeks. So we'll be helping you think about connections throughout the course. Some of the smaller assignments that I give you throughout the semester will also ask you to do that. I'm very big on connections, so I'll be asking you to connect things to your lives, connect things to the world around you, connect things to the other course, things like that. In terms of building a sense of community, that's why we're doing the Flipgrid videos. I know that can be a little annoying if you run out of time recording or if whatever. But I think one of the hardest things right now during the pandemic is feeling connected to your fellow students. And one of the things we don't want you guys to feel is just like, you just are on autopilot. You just do the work, you're all alone, you do the work, you finish. I think learning happens best in a community. So what that community looks like is going to feel very different in this class, but the hope is that you'll still really, you still will get some sense of it because of the way we've set up some of the ways that you'll interact. I've already talked a little bit about some of the specific philosophers, but basically the idea is going to be that there are going to be sort of specific ideas in philosophy that the philosophers sort of use and express in their philosophical writing, and then apply those ideas in their the literature that they write. So that's what we're going to be asking you guys to do. Not everything you'll read in philosophy is going to one-to-one connect to like this shows up in the text, because I have sort of an obligation to expose you to some broader things. But most of it will. So just wanted to give you a sense of that. And if anyone's ever confused about the logistics of the learning community, let us know. Basically, though, it's going to seem like 2 separate classes to you. There are 2 shells. There's the English shell. There's the philosophy shell. The philosophy assignments will be in my part. English will be over there. But you'll notice that like the major paper assignments, you're going to see them posted in both shells. You're going to submit them in both shells, things like that. Professor Hemmer will be contributing to some of the Flipgrids. He'll be watching some of the Flipgrids, but all of that will be run through my shell. the videos where both he and I are talking to you, they'll also be both in my shell. So philosophy would be a little bit more of the dominant shell where you're doing more of the interacting with each other. But important to keep abreast of the fact that you do have to be paying attention to both shells, in that you'll have quizzes in English and quizzes in philosophy. So that's, I think, the most confusing thing about being online for a learning community, is like, what stuff is just for philosophy? What stuff do you have, what stuff do you have to do both times? So hopefully that helps set the stage a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions going forward. All right, thanks.